biscuits, it's Cupcake Kamisama back here, and it's another 10-day Lolita challenge video. Today we're dealing with prompt number 7, items from your Lolita wish list. Point me to a Lolita who does not have a wish list and does not enjoy talking or thinking about the things that they wish they could get. We all have a wish list, whatever the kind. Some people's are quite specific, some people's are quite vague, but it's a pretty materialistic fashion. We all want stuff. My own wish list has gotten to the stage now where I have to separate things, and I have one list of things that I think I need to complete certain outfits or to make my wardrobe more cohesive and to make sure that I can mix and match things a bit more freely. And that tends to be less exciting stuff like this particular style and colour of socks, for example. And then I have a proper wish list, i.e. this is pretty and I want it. So since the first kind isn't particularly exciting for a video, I'll focus on the second kind. These are in no particular order. I mean, I'll try and sort of arrange them in from most to least wanted, but having said that, this tends to change. So I'll have, at one point I'll want this dress more, and at another I'll feel like that's something I want to focus more on. Let's just throw things from my wish list at you. So let's start off with Angelic Pretties Jewellery Snow JSK in Saks. Now, I had actually really liked it from the moment they first previewed it, when the preview was just an OP. It's very beautiful and elegant in this sort of understated way, especially in a Saks colorway, because even though you have a bit of contrast between the snowflake print and the fabric, it's not like in your face like it is on the navy or the black, but it also doesn't disappear as it does on the white. And I did seriously contemplate getting that, and then it didn't happen. I think just because it was like around Christmas, so I was trying to focus my spending on something more sensible. And obviously it sold out in like a second. As well as it is a high waist cut, which I do try and avoid because they're not, I don't think they're flattering on people with larger boobs. If you like that, that's perfectly fine. I don't think that this is something for me. However, when I saw someone on Instagram show how pretty much every single bow is detachable, I thought, well, that could be something to use up to change up how it looks, because when the bows were like right there, the irony of me having bows right here, but when the bows were placed right here where the waist seam was, on someone with larger chest it could have ridden up and exaggerated how he's like, boob, the rest of it. However, if you can take them off, then you can sort of create that more flowy look, and I thought, well, now that I know that, it might actually work on me. And then they made the made to order, which I still didn't jump on. I think at the time, again, it was just like, well, I can't quite justify that at the moment. So long story short, now I decided that I like it enough to want it. I probably wouldn't spend full price on it, hoping that once the made to orders arrive to people and people realise, actually I need the money for something else, or maybe I just don't like that dress as much anymore, that then I'll be able to get my hands on it. But I am prepared to wait for it as long as it takes. It's not like I have an abundance of space and can just shove things in there. So if it happens, it happens. I would also like to get my hands on Mary Magdalene's Deborah Doll JSK in wine. For such a long time, I've been convinced that Mary Magdalene would never fit, and up until I got Mary Magdalene's Paulina JSK, I was still convinced that I'd have to go on some kind of major weight loss journey and start binding just in order to fit it. So realizing that partially shirred pieces actually stand a chance of fitting me was an eye-opener, and I immediately went on the library and started checking out every single partially shirred Mary Magdalene dress to see which ones I liked. And although Deborah doll competes a little bit with Arabesque Rose, I think I'd go for that one because it's a piece that is very understated in the sense, well, it's not a print, so it could be dressed up or down, as well as it could potentially pass for formal wear should I ever need it, and just be that elegant piece that you pull out if you need to look the part, look elegant. Next on my wish list is an item that is not very, is the most vague of them all. Let's put it as is. I would like to get a red based floral piece, preferably JSK. Might settle for a skirt if it's a lovely design. Potentially an OP, I'm not excluding that, but it's the lowest on my priority list. I've in general been on a massive turnover and I've converted to the floral way. However, most florals tend to be pink based. Either the fabric is pink or the florals on it are pink, which I have no qualm with, but I would love a red based one. So I'm thinking either maybe an ivory dress with red roses on it, or flowers, doesn't have to be roses, or a red fabric that's floral printed. I mean, I had one, very briefly, I had one dress that fit that description and it turns out it did not fit. It was Innocent World's Tulip Flare, and it was perfect. It was exactly what I was looking for, except it did not fit. So whilst I know that there's lots of dresses and skirts that fit that description, there's that bodyline skirt that's high-waisted, there's plenty of pieces from Innocent World and Baby the Star Shine Bright and all that, I haven't yet found a piece that I'd feel, this is it, this is exactly what I want. Now, for a while I thought that Innocent World's, I want to say it's called Angel Rose or Cherub Rose, something like this, I thought that this would be the one, and I've seen it has two JSK cuts, one that's prettier but wouldn't fit me, and one that's I'm not so keen on but potentially would fit me. And I thought that the skirt was fully shirred, but I recently learned it isn't, so it's not that anymore. There's obviously Arabesque Rose by Mary Magdalene in that sort of ivory beigey with red. I'd be more than happy with that one. And I recently discovered a piece from Baby the Stars Shine Bright that was like re-released several times, and every single time the cut would have been too small, except that one time when they did a special set. I'll put a name somewhere here because can't remember it right now. But either way, red based floral dress or skirt, I feel like it would fit my need for floral pieces. It would fit my wardrobe that little bit better because once it's red base, I can pair it with all my other reds and wines. I could pair it with ivory and white, potentially with pink. I could probably pair it with green, which I'm getting a bit more of these days. It's something that would be quite versatile. Again, I could dress it up, I could dress it down, as well as if the cut isn't too fussy, I could potentially wear it casually and maybe to work or to a non-Lolita event. I don't know, like wedding, christening, whatever life might throw my way. Actually, that might be probably the highest priority piece on my list, on my wish list. And at the same time, I don't want to spend a fortune on it, so. And now for a piece that I'm not hopeful I'll ever get, although life has thrown all my other impossible to find dream dresses my way, so who knows. It's Marsh and the Princess's Nutcracker JSK, Now, if you're not familiar with that brand, Marchand de Princessin, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, was a Korean brand. They've since stopped producing anything. They've gone out of business. I have no idea what the story was, because that was before I fully engaged with Lolita fashion. They collaborated a couple of times with Hey Newly, and they had beautiful pieces. I have no idea why they didn't stick around, but they had absolutely gorgeous pieces. And Nutcracker JSK in red is, for me, the epitome of a Christmas print that I could get. As someone who likes my wardrobe to be versatile and to work in many different seasons and temperatures, although I love Christmas, I really struggle with the idea of getting a typical Christmas print, because that's something I could only wear for 1 month a year. I might not feel like wearing a Christmas print, I might feel like wearing something else, so I don't want to restrict myself in that sense. However, the Nutcracker print, yes, Nutcracker is, as the story is centered around Christmas time, but it's also ballet, so you could wear it throughout the year. It's a very elegant dress, and it's a fairly simple cut, and the print is, from what I can gather on stock photos, the print is quite subtle, as in it's not multicolour, bold story. It's red dress with gold print on it, like outlines of stuff, which is incredibly elegant. And I think that's the kind of Christmas dress that I could justify getting, because I can see myself wearing it at other times of the year and just doing all kinds of different themes with it. However, like I said, it's by a brand that no longer exists, and indie brands are far harder to find secondhand than Japanese ones, especially if you're very particular about what cut you want and what colourway you want. So I'm not holding my breath, and if life ever decides to surprise me, it would be nice, but if not, it'll be that one dress I'll never get. And this is kind of where my next wishlist item steps in, because I would like Angelic Pretties Queen Chocolate JSK in wine. Because again, even though it's a print, but it's not really, it's more like a pattern. It's a sort of it's an all over print if you want, and because the red and the brown in checkered pattern, diamond pattern, that's the one, kind of works with Christmas in terms of colour. I could use it as my Christmas dress if I were unable to get Nutcracker JSK. As well as, I really like the cut, the military style buttons on the lapels. It's very beautiful, and so far it's the only chocolate print that I found myself genuinely liking, as well as thinking that could fit and hopefully it won't be too short. Some people hate it, fair enough. I wouldn't say I love it, but I really do admire it, and I think it's very pretty. And again, it's treading that border between is it print or is it not, which means I'm hoping it will be very easy to dress up or dress down. Can you see a theme there? It's something that, again, would work with my wardrobe quite well. Even though I only have a couple of brown pieces, I could bring those in. I could bring in my reds, I could bring in the ivories, I could bring in the golds, maybe even try and pink or mint, since mint works quite well with both red and with brown. There's a whole lot of options for that dress. The caveat is, I don't want it enough to spend a lot of money on it, so I have set myself a budget of this is the amount I'd be comfortable spending on that dress. I'd rather not go over this. Preferably that some would include shipping if it's not based in the UK. So I'm preparing myself to wait for it. In the meantime, it might well turn out that I fall out of love with it, or I find something else that will replace it. But for the time being, it stays on my wish list, and I'm hoping that because it wasn't particularly popular, someone will eventually sell it for a decent price and I can then bounce on it. And then we come to Meta's Gold Braid Tuck JSK in wine. Now, I have no idea how I actually came across it, how I discovered its existence. I can't say that I've always known about it, because I didn't. I found it somehow. Maybe whilst browsing the library for something else, as it often happens. But once I became aware of it, it pulled on a heartstring somewhere. Because at a glance, it's very simple. And then you start noticing the very tiny details that make it into this exquisite piece that it is. Like, instead of trying to blind you with a flashy print or with tons of ruffles, Meta's gone for this very understated elegance that forces you to look closely and appreciate the quality of individual details, like the details on the bodice, or the quality of the fabric. And it really spoke to me. And again, because it's quite simple, because it's non-printed, you could potentially dress it down, but why would you? Why would you want to? To me, I think this is also something that for a while I've been wanting to do a cord that would be a nod to medieval. Not really fashion, because medieval fashion is very different to what people think medieval fashion is. That would be a nod to medieval-esque fantasy fashion and something that I could use as a base for a cord based on Arthurian myths. I absolutely loved myths that are centered around King Arthur, and this is a dress that I feel would work really well for that, as well as a whole variety of other cords that you might decide to make. And then the last piece that I decided to include is not a dress, it's a wine bonnet. Just like that red based floral skirt, it's a very vague wishlist item, but it just means that I am open to a wide range of possibilities. My only criteria is that the bonnet is a half bonnet, that it's not one of them floppy ones. I want a proud, tall bonnet because the stiffer your bonnet, the closer to Manasama. I want it to be wine more than red. I know that there's all kinds of shades of wine as well, however, I should be able to incorporate it in one way or another. And I'd rather the bonnet focused on either texture, so it might be textured fabric like jacquard or damask, or be decorated with only a couple of select things. Like, I know there have been bonnets that match particular prints. I don't want mine to be too loud or too flashy, because I'm worried that then it might not be as versatile, and I kind of need it to work with several different dresses that I have. The obvious choice here is a Triple Fortune bonnet, and believe me not, if I found one in one of the ivory and Bordeaux colorways, I'd probably jump on it. But I'm not restricting myself to that. If I find a bonnet that I feel fits my criteria and that I like the look of, that's not Triple Fortune, then I'll get it. Which in this sense, I would almost prefer to get an indie brand one, because I feel like the bonnets that brands like Angelic Pretties and Baby D'Souche and Bright release, as pretty as they are, these kind of seem like a bit too much, and they don't often come for sale second hand, at least not in the colorways that I want. Or when they do, it's one of those really printed ones. There's a whole lot of buts there. My favourite bonnet that I currently own is by an indie brand called Jessie Doll. She no longer makes bonnets. I was very lucky to attend Wicked and Whimsy in 2016 and buy that bonnet off of her, but every time I do wear it, it's gathering so many compliments, and I would love, if she ever made new ones, I'd absolutely buy that one. But in the meantime, I'm just keeping my eyes open. If I find something I like, I'll get it. If Triple Fortune decide to do ivory and Bordeaux bonnets again, then I'll get that one. For the time being, the search continues. Now, as you may have noticed, listening to that entire wish list, all items bar one are in some sort of shade of red or wine. That is not a coincidence, and I've only just noticed that my outfit matches that theme of the wish list. However, when I did my 2018 wardrobe post, it really struck me how few main pieces in red I own, given that red and wine are one of my favourite colours. So it is, one, a very conscious choice to add more of that colour into my wardrobe to reflect how much I love it. But also, as someone who falls in love with particular pieces, as in it has to be that print, in that colourway, in that cut, because this is what I find most appealing. It just happened that I want all of these pieces in red because I find them the most beautiful in red. So, seeing as I've gathered pretty much all of my other wishlist items, which tended to be navy or sax or ivory even, I am now trying to add more reds into my wardrobe. So far, it's not going as well as I would have liked. However, what is a wish list for if not to motivate you to push on and to achieve that goal? And let's be honest, even if I got only half of the red pieces that I've listed in this video, I'd still be happy. I could probably, if I had to select of what I've mentioned, the ones that I absolutely want most, I'd say it's a red based floral JSK, it's Meta's gold braid tuck JSK, and then any of the other ones, not particularly fussed. Oh, and the bonnet, let's not forget the bonnet. And that's it for video number 7 from the 10-day Lolita challenge. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Again, do get in on it. You can look up all the previous videos I've done from this series. There's a playlist that I'll link up here, or you can go to the description box below where you'll find a link to the original 10-day Lolita challenge blog post. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. There's still more to come, and in between I'm sure I'll manage to squeeze in a couple of other videos. You can also support me by buying a coffee on my coffee page, which is linked in the description below. Do check it out. It's a very tiny monetary gesture that will motivate me to keep this channel going, as well as keep all of the other content going, which if you're interested to find, do not forget to check out my blog, Cupcakes and Unicorns, where you'll find more of that Lolita content. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye!